Hong Kong models death and dismemberment resurfaces memories of past horrors. Police excavate a landfill during a search for the body part of 28-year-old Abby Choi in Hong Kong on February 28. Hong Kong CNN. The postcard image of Hong Kong is one of the glitch skyscrapers against the lush mountains, dim sum restaurants, and investment bankers in suit. But in recent weeks, the international financial hub has again been the headlines for something darker. The death of model and influencer Abby Choi, whose dismembered body parts are found along with a meat slicer and electric saw in a rental unit last month. The death of the 28-year-old mother has not only horrified a city regularly ranked as one of the world's safest, but gripped much of the world's media with the grisly details of her alleged killing. For Hong Kongers, it has also resurfaced painful, painful, painful memories of previous cases of dismemberment in the city, many targeting young women and almost all perpetrated by men. Abby Choi pictured at the fashion show in Paris, France on January 25, 2023. There's so-called Hello Kitty murder of 1999 when 23-year-old Fan Man Yi was abducted by gang members and brutally tortured for a month before her death and dismemberment. Her scarce was eventually found sewn inside a Hello Kitty plush doll. There were four women, the youngest only 17 years old, killed by a taxi driver who kept their dismembered body part in jars before his arrest in 1982. Then came 16-year-old Wong Ka Mui, who was strangled and dismembered in 2008, and her remains flushed down a toilet. And in 2013, Glory Chow and Moon Xiu were murdered and dismembered by their 28-year-old son, a crime described by a judge as evil and absolutely hideous. Henry Chow Hui Long, who murdered and dismembered his parents, escorted from Hong Kong's High Court on March 20, 2015. Reams of headlines followed each murder, but for all the media attention, experts point out such cases are exceptionally rare in Hong Kong, a city with incredibly low rate of violent crime for each population of 7.4 million. Hong Kong sees only a few dozen homicides each year compared to several hundreds in New York, and it recorded only 77 robberies in last year, compared to more than 17,000 in New York and 24,000 in London. So why the huge interest in these previous few cases? Their rarity combined with their brutality is one factor, experts say. But there may be another at play that buried beneath all the grim details of death is peculiar insight into living in one of the world's most densely populated cities. No space to hide the body. Roderick Broadhurst, a emeritus professor of criminology at Australian National University, previously based in Hong Kong, where he founded the Hong Kong Centre for Criminology, estimated there have been a dozen or so dismemberment cases in the city every the past 50 years. Philip Bay, a semi retired forensic pathologist who has previously worked with the Hong Kong police, gave a slightly lower estimate, saying he could recall fewer than 10 such cases in his 40-year career. Taxi driver and serial killer Lam Kor Wan is taken into Hong Kong's High Court in March 1983. Both experts emphasized that Hong Kong is still very safe and that these numbers are relatively low. Indeed, Hong Kong's reputation for safety meant the few cases that did occur left a stronger imprint on the city, Broadhurst said. But both also suggested the gruesome nature of these past cases, in particular the dismembering of limbs reflect the reality of life in Hong Kong. Simply put, it is much harder to hide a body in the tightly packed city, home to tiny apartments and some of the world's most densely populated neighborhoods. Someone trying to dispose of bodies in rural area of Australia, Canada, or United States has a very good chance of getting away with it, thanks to the ample space and open terrain, Bear said. Not so in Hong Kong. There are essentially people who are trying to get away with a crime but failing to do so, said Bear. Eyes everywhere. A killer in Hong Kong more likely than not will live within just a few feet of dozens of people who could spot them trying to dispose of a corpse, prompting some to break victims into smaller parts for disposal. Most people live in apartment blocks on the top of each other. We don't have individual with houses and gardens where we can you can go out and dig a hole and try to bury a body, Beth said. You're never really alone. Your neighbors are above you, below you, next to you, and anything out of the ordinary will catch someone's attention. Broadhurst agreed, pointing out that the apartment buildings a murderer might have to get into an elevator shared by more than 100 households just to go outside. Several previous cases have invoked killers who cooked or boiled the body part, details that have horrified the public and likely fueled by substantiated rumors surrounding cases like a 1985 pork burn murders in neighboring Macau. A man killed a family of 10, including the owners of restaurants, and as the urban legend and the movie inspired ghosts supposedly served them up in burns. But in explanation is far more mundane in most cases, Beth said. In Hong Kong's subtropical humid climate, the smell of body very quickly captures attention, he said, hence why some murderers might attempt to remove the smell by cooking dismembered pot. Few cars or freezers. As for why these killers didn't use method commonly seen in other countries, keeping the body in the freezer, dumping them in the water late at night, Hong Kong's density poses yet another difficulty. In its notoriously expensive housing market, apartments are usually too small and cramped for larger furniture or kitchen appliances. Very few individuals have larger refrigerators at home, Beth said. Even fewer have freezers. You can't even keep the body if you wanted to. He added that the same scarcity applies to cars and thus the same difficulty in discreetly transporting a body. Few residents own vehicles since buildings with places to park are at the premium. In 2019, a parking space sold for nearly $1 million, a record, and the city has an extensive, efficient public transit system anyway. Man Yan Wei, a victim of the Hello Kitty murder. These combined factors could explain the various cases over the years where killers used the bizarre, grotesque method to deal with their victims' bodies, such as the woman murdered by her husband in 2018 and her body kept in the suitcase, or the 28-year-old man whose body was found in the block of cement in 2016. We live in a place where essentially, if you have killed someone, your next very pressing question is, what do you do with the body? Beth said. There are very few options. CNN's Kathleen Magramo contributed to this report.